I have some things that I want to say because I think it's appropriate to have them on the record. When this idea first came to our attention 3-4 years ago as a community, it was a very fascinating idea at the time. And the scope of the project at that time was considerably larger than the project that has been advanced now. It has been downsized and modified, but I think in a good way, to give it the opportunity to have growth, if growth there be. And when we're talking about doing something new, I don't think there's any better place in the world to do something new than in Lunenburg and do it by Lunenburgers and do it our way. Because I give you some examples. The Lunenburg Waterfront Association has been in place now for 10 years. The concept of that came to Lunenburgers in Lunenburg, and they worked with it with nothing in their hands initially except the ideas that they had in their minds. And here we are 10 years later with tremendous strides having been made during that decade in what has happened on our waterfront. The Lunenburg Academy Foundation, which was established in 1981, has literally contributed hundreds of thousands, millions maybe of dollars when the total is added up over the last 34 years to this facility to keep it going. And again, work continues with the town and the Academy Foundation cooperating. And I remember that I was a member of that first board of the foundation, which was established in 1981. There aren't that many of us left. But we were looking for a chairperson, and Doug Pike volunteered to be the chairman for the short term. And Doug took hold of it and went for a year or so, and then we got into chairpersons who have carried on certain longevity in the role, but with, again, distinction and tremendous drive. And that was, in no small part, a factor in my making the decision to commit myself to the short term to help with the leadership role of LAMP, of any talent, skills, or interests that I might be able to bring to bear. And similarly, I remember meeting in Alma Houston's kitchen when we were talking about the idea of a folk harbor festival for Lunenburg. And now they are in their 29th season, growing larger, receiving more attention year by year. So when we talked about the Lunenburg Academy of Music Performance, and I thought, well, this is just another pipe dream. Yes, but when I saw what was being put down the pipe, when they showed me what they had actually put together, I said, this is more than a pipe dream. This is a torrent of ideas that have come together that people are going to be able to carry forward. So I said to myself, rather than leaving them in the lurch, as I was planning to do in a sense, I was going to withdraw from the board and let someone else take on because I wasn't chair or anything like that. At the last board meeting, I left and I came home and I had to tell my wife, whom I had told in leaving that I was going to depart the board. I said, you won't believe what I'm doing now. But I had her approval before the evening was over, because we needed a chairman, and I felt like in the tradition of a Doug Pike, who was a good friend of mine, that I would like to carry that forward. So I'd like to again thank the mayor and the council, because I think it's important to remind everyone as well that as required by agreements which were reached over 20 years ago between the federal government and the town of Lunenburg, the town council, when Old Town Lunenburg was nominated for UNESCO designation and subsequently listed, the town council is the manager of this site. And I know the academy is not in the site, it's in the buffer zone, I would like to say, of that site, just on the fringe. But I believe as such, the council continues to provide the necessary support and involvement which this site requires year by year. And the academy is in a unique position to take advantage of the skills and ideas which have been put forward. So we're here today to outline the program for the fall of 2014. And this is really the dream of Bert Wathen, who had this thought in mind for many years. And he's a gentleman whose passion for music I have come to respect and admire. And really what a program they have, starting with the Rossini opera class in early October, and going forward from that. The program I found to be absolutely astounding, that these people who are world figures in the field field of music and their particular sphere of music are coming to Lunenburg. We have promised them all the scallops and all the lobster they can eat, because that was one of the requirements that they wanted when they came. But we are again looking at students who have graduated in music from a university. And I think I'm within my rights in saying that we had 140 applications for this opera school. Unfortunately, none of them from Atlantic County universities. They're coming from the rest of the country, the rest of the continent, the rest of the world. But all 140 were auditioned, and there were only 14 members who made it to the class. That was the goal at the outset, was to have 14. So when they arrive here, these young people, like a class afloat, another sort of made in Lunenburg concept, they will be coming, bringing presumably some of their family, either at the beginning or end of their trip. They will be coming from various destinations. They will be seeing Lunenburg in a particular way for the 2-week time frame that they're here. And they will be sharing their music publicly in concerts, but also in concerts that are being provided for the educational systems, for the students, and some for those who are part of the community who wouldn't necessarily be involved with opera. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes' time. But these graduate students are on their way to careers in music. And here, this will provide them with the opportunity to learn from a master in the field and be able to be better equipped to then go out and audition for roles in various opera companies around the world. And they'll be taking the stamp of Lunenburg with them. Now, if you have looked at the program, I invite you to do so on the website. All you have to do is Google Lamp in Lunenburg and you've got it, or Lamp in the Academy and you've got it. And there are 12 concerts being planned between October 25th and December 14th. There are individual prices for those concerts. There are packages as well. You can take and select 1, 2, or more of them if you wish. There are also a fall semester with programs that are going on. And I forget the number of those, I didn't really count them up, but it's a huge number of programs. Visits to homes for special care, places where people are not able to come to be with us. And this research and interaction with the community is going to be immense. And it's coming at a time of year when Lunenburg is sort of wrapped up and rolled up the sidewalks for the fall season in October. So I spoke last week with the executive of the Board of Trade and made them aware of the program, because some of the businesses, as we know, close down at a certain point in the season. But maybe they want to test the waters by way of doing dinner and package tours or overnight accommodation, that sort of thing, even for weekends for a few months into the fall season. So who is our target audience? I've heard several people around Lunenburg tell me I'm not really interested in opera. Well, I've never gone to an opera performance in my life. But I'm interested in it, because the music and the stories and the ability of people to share their music in that way is absolutely amazing. And I think we're not talking about an audience that's located in Lunenburg, or even in Lunenburg County. We're talking about a much wider audience that we would like to attract here, and our audience really is quite literally the world, our target market. Because people who are in Louisiana and who hear that the maestro's coming here for a 2-week course in Rossini are going to say, well, I think we'll book and go up there for a couple of days. I think we'll fly in from Toronto. I think we'll come from the schools of music in the different universities around, because some of those students are coming from, McGill in Montreal and other places across the country. And this academy is going to present a quality of music that is excellent. And that's what we always felt was necessary for this building, a center of excellence. It's something which I believe, like Old Town Lunenburg, will have a universal appeal. And as people come and hear, I believe they will tell others when they go back how they enjoyed the music, the food, the quiet atmosphere, the tranquil surroundings of this part of Nova Scotia, and I believe they will tell others who in turn will pass the word along.